Good evening. You are here now, listening quietly, letting the hum of the world slow down until only the rhythm of your breathing remains. The light around you softens, the air grows calm, and a feeling of safety begins to fill the room. You have nothing left to do. No waves to fight against. No expectations to meet. For the next while, you are free to drift, to let your thoughts dissolve into the gentle space between waking and sleep. This is your time to rest and to dream with science as your guide. The story you are about to hear is not a lecture but a lullaby. A slow descent into the blue heart of the planet. As you close your eyes, imagine the first sound that reaches you is water moving slowly. A long whisper that never ends. Feel the air cool slightly, as though the walls around you have turned into liquid glass. You can almost hear droplets fall and echo in the distance, merging into waves that breathe. The light dims until it becomes deep blue, the color of peace and endlessness. You breathe in, sensing salt, vastness, and a quiet that seems older than time. The pressure of the world above fades away as you sink deeper into calm. In this stillness, you realize how alive silence can be. It holds shape, rhythm, and memory, and somewhere beneath it, countless lives are glowing softly, unseen. Now, let the image widen in your mind. Picture an ocean stretching beyond the horizon, its surface trembling faintly under the moon. Far below, beyond where sunlight can reach, lies a world few have ever witnessed. There are mountains higher than the Alps and valleys deeper than any canyon on land. The temperature drops, the water thickens, and colors disappear one by one until only blue and black remain. The deeper you go, the quieter it becomes, and yet the ocean is never empty. It pulses with energy, with slow currents and drifting life forms that shimmer like stars in a private sky. Some move gracefully, leaving faint trails of light. Others remain still, waiting for invisible tides to feed them. The seafloor lies like a sleeping landscape, full of hidden ridges, volcanic vents, and ancient fossils resting in soft sediment. You may imagine yourself descending slowly through this vast darkness, weightless and unhurried. Around you, fragments of light drift like dust in a cathedral, glowing briefly before fading. The pressure rises, but it feels more like a gentle embrace than a threat. Every few meters, you pass another layer of mystery, the twilight zone where sunlight weakens, the midnight zone where it disappears, and the abyss where life changes form to survive. Down here, everything adapts in silence. Fish develop eyes as wide as lanterns to catch the smallest spark. Some creatures create their own glow, painting the black water with colors of living fire. Even bacteria shimmer faintly near vents that breathe heat into the cold. This is the deep sea, one of the last frontiers of Earth, a place as alien as distant planets and yet right beneath your feet. Scientists call it the largest habitat on Earth, covering more than half of the planet's surface. Yet we have explored only a tiny fraction of it. In these depths, there are beings that have never seen sunlight, species that communicate through flashes instead of sound, and ecosystems that thrive without oxygen or photosynthesis. The rules of the surface world do not apply here. Gravity feels different, time slows down, and survival follows rhythms written in silence and darkness. When you think about it, the ocean's depths are not far from the landscapes of your own mind. Both hold layers of thought, memory, and dreams hidden beneath the surface. Sometimes you visit them when you close your eyes and listen carefully. The deep sea is a reflection of that inner space, quiet, immense, and luminous in its own secret way. To understand it is to understand calmness itself. Because everything here moves slowly, deliberately, with purpose but without hurry. Even light learns patience before it fades away. So tonight, as you listen, let yourself drift through these waters. Let science become soft and luminous. You will discover how light behaves in darkness, how life thrives under immense pressure, and how sound travels through water like a heartbeat. You will meet creatures that defy imagination, transparent, glowing, enormous, and delicate. You will explore the vents that create life from heat instead of sunlight, and the plains where ancient bones rest quietly, feeding entire ecosystems. There is no need to hold on to anything. The ocean carries you, as it has carried continents, storms, and life itself for billions of years. It knows how to calm you because it remembers the rhythm of beginnings. Before land, before trees, before voices, there was water, and it whispered the same slow song you hear now. So take a deep breath. Let the weight of the day sink away. Feel the ocean cradle you as you drift gently downward, leaving the bright noise of the surface behind. Ahead lies an endless blue horizon of wonder and peace. Let us begin our journey into the deep sea, where science becomes silence, and silence becomes sleep. When you imagine the ocean, you might think of sunlight on waves or the sparkle of foam breaking against the shore. Yet beneath that brightness lies a slow transition, a gradient of fading light that leads into the vast unknown. As you descend through the water column, the colors around you melt away like fading memories. Reds vanish first, then oranges, then yellows. By the time you reach 100 meters deep, only blue remains, wrapping the world in soft twilight. You are entering the ocean's middle realm, a place where day and night blend into a single endless dusk. Here, the sea becomes quiet, and everything begins to move to the rhythm of its own heartbeat. You drift slowly, suspended between worlds. The surface is far above, where sunlight still dances. Below you stretches the shadowed domain of the deep. In this space between, light weakens but does not disappear. Small particles shimmer as they fall, a gentle rain of life called marine snow. It is made of tiny fragments of shells, bits of plankton, and traces of energy from the surface. Every flake that descends becomes food for the unseen world below. You watch it drift like slow-motion snowflakes in a dream. It reminds you that even in darkness, nourishment continues to fall from the stars above the waves. There is a moment when you begin to feel the weight of the water, not as pressure, but as presence. The ocean around you seems alive, watching quietly, pulsing with energy that you can almost feel on your skin. The soundscape changes too. Waves fade into low vibrations. Clicks, hums, and distant calls replace them. Whales sing somewhere far away, their voices traveling for hundreds of miles. Shrimp crackle faintly near the seafloor. Every sound moves slower here, bending and echoing through the layers of water. You realize that in this place, even silence has texture. It hums softly, full of messages too deep for the surface world to hear. The deeper you go, the stranger the light becomes. It no longer comes from the sun but from the living. Tiny creatures produce flashes of blue and green as they drift by, like lanterns carried by invisible hands. Some pulse rhythmically, others flicker in patterns that seem deliberate. This is bioluminescence, the art of light born from life. It is both communication and defense, attraction and disguise. A jellyfish glows to confuse a predator. A small fish blinks to lure prey. A squid releases a burst of glowing ink, vanishing into the dark. It is a language written in brightness, one that has evolved for millions of years without a single sound. You might wonder how these creatures survive in a place with almost no light, crushing pressure, and freezing cold. The answer lies in their quiet genius. Some have skin so thin that light passes through them entirely. Others have bodies filled with oils that resist the pull of gravity. Some create their own heat, and others depend on chemicals rising from volcanic vents. There are fish with eyes tuned to wavelengths invisible to humans, and worms that feast on minerals instead of plants. Every adaptation here feels like a soft miracle, shaped by patience rather than urgency. The ocean, like time, teaches resilience through slowness. Down here, evolution moves quietly but precisely. Every form that exists is a story of survival written in silence. You see how simplicity becomes beauty, how a creature that glows faintly in the dark might hold more grace than any coral reef above. You begin to understand that darkness is not absence, it is a space for transformation. As you continue your descent, the idea of distance fades. There is no up or down, no left or right, only motion and stillness coexisting. The body forgets gravity, the mind forgets worry, and what remains is awareness. You are drifting, surrounded by water so dense and silent that thought itself slows to match it. It feels like meditation, but deeper. The ocean becomes your breath, expanding and contracting in rhythm with your heartbeat. Every pulse seems to echo through the vastness around you, connecting you to unseen life that moves with the same rhythm. In the distance, a faint glow catches your attention. It could be the reflection of an organism or the shimmer of minerals escaping from a thermal vent. You move closer, and it feels as if the sea is inviting you into its oldest secret. The deep is not empty but filled with balance, a constant exchange between creation and decay. Every droplet here is part of a timeless cycle that keeps the planet alive. Without this realm, there would be no oxygen on the surface, no stable climate, no gentle rain above land. The deep sea, though unseen, sustains everything you know. You begin to see why scientists describe it with reverence, why explorers whisper when they speak of their dives. There is humility in facing something so vast, so old, and so alive. The deep ocean is a mirror of the universe, mysterious, luminous, and infinite. Its darkness is not to be feared but cherished, for it holds the quiet foundation of all life. And so, as you float here at the edge of the unknown, you feel calm spreading through you like warm current. The ocean's rhythm has become your rhythm. The boundaries between your thoughts and the water dissolve. You are no longer just an observer. You are part of the story written by waves and light and silence. Take another slow breath. The descent has only begun, and deeper mysteries await. Ahead lies the foundation of all knowledge, the facts and forces that make this underwater universe possible. You are ready now to drift deeper, to listen, to learn, and to sleep with the sound of the sea echoing softly in your heart. The ocean begins as a cradle of energy, where sunlight touches water and creates life. Yet only a thin layer of the sea ever feels the warmth of the sun. Below it lies a vast expanse of cold and darkness that holds 95% of the ocean's volume. It is the largest living space on Earth, invisible but essential. Pressure defines the deep. With every 10 meters of descent, it increases by the weight of the air above the entire surface of the planet. At the deepest point known, the Mariana Trench, pressure reaches more than 1,000 times what you feel at sea level. Down here, even steel bends like clay. But life has found ways to endure. Temperature, too, becomes a sculptor of existence. Near the surface, the water shifts with seasons and storms. But far below, it stays close to freezing all year round. That cold slows metabolism and movement, allowing creatures to live longer, move slower, and waste almost nothing. In the deep, time itself cools down. Light is a traveler that cannot survive the journey to the depths. It fades gradually, filtered by water until even the brightest beam disappears after 200 meters. In its absence, another kind of light is born, bioluminescence. The living glow. The darkness teaches life to make its own stars. The deep sea is divided into layers like an unseen architecture of silence. Scientists call them zones: the epipelagic, mesopelagic, bathypelagic, abyssopelagic, and hadal. Each is a different world, with its own colors, sounds, and laws of survival. The deeper the layer, the slower the heartbeat of life. In the twilight zone, where faint light still flickers, countless small creatures drift. They migrate upward at night and return to the depths by day, forming the largest daily movement of life on Earth. It is a quiet tide of billions of bodies, pulsing through darkness like a planetary breath. The sea breathes, and the planet sleeps to its rhythm. The ocean's chemistry also changes with depth. Oxygen becomes scarce, and carbon dioxide increases, making the water heavier and more acidic. Yet even here, life has learned balance, building shells, filtering minerals, and recycling energy in ways that sustain entire ecosystems. The chemistry of survival is written in invisible ink. Sediments on the ocean floor are like pages in the planet's diary. Layer upon layer, they record volcanic eruptions, meteor strikes, and ancient life. Every grain holds a story millions of years old. The deep sea keeps memory for the Earth, even when the surface forgets. Currents move through these depths like slow rivers of gravity. Cold, dense water sinks at the poles and travels across the globe, carrying oxygen and nutrients that feed distant seas. It is a cycle that takes 1,000 years to complete. The deep ocean is the planet's bloodstream, unseen but vital. Even sound transforms in the deep. It travels 5 times faster through water than through air and can circle the globe without fading. A whale's song can be heard halfway across an ocean. In this world of darkness, sound becomes the language of distance and belonging. The creatures of the deep sea are engineers of resilience. Their bodies bend, compress, and adapt to pressure that would crush almost anything built by human hands. Some have no air spaces at all. Their cells are filled with gelatinous fluids that resist collapse. In this world, softness becomes strength. Many deep-sea animals are nearly transparent. Their organs and muscles refract light rather than reflect it, making them invisible in the darkness. This invisibility is not a trick but an art of survival, allowing them to float unseen among both hunters and prey. What cannot be seen cannot be caught. Bioluminescence is the heartbeat of the abyss. Nearly 90% of deep-sea species produce their own glow through chemical reactions within their bodies. They use it to attract mates, lure prey, or disguise themselves against faint surface light. The ocean below becomes a silent galaxy, every creature its own star. Among the strangest of these glowing beings is the anglerfish. It dangles a luminous lure above its mouth, using the light to attract smaller fish into its reach. Its jaw unhinges, and its body expands to swallow prey larger than itself. It survives by patience and perfect stillness, hidden in total darkness. The gulper eel stretches the definition of what a creature can be. Its mouth is larger than its entire body, and it can open wide enough to consume something as big as it is. Scientists believe it feeds rarely, relying on vast internal storage of nutrients. It waits in the dark, a symbol of quiet abundance. Further down, the deep-sea dragonfish glows with red light invisible to most eyes. It can see its own color, giving it the advantage of hunting unseen. Its teeth are transparent, its skin dark as space. When it moves, it looks less like an animal and more like a living shadow with eyes of fire. Then there are the vampire squids, named not for blood but for beauty. Their skin is the color of dusk, and they unfurl webbed arms lined with tiny glowing spots. They feed on falling particles of marine snow, never hunting, never rushing. In the deep, even the word vampire becomes gentle. The Dumbo octopus, with its ear-like fins, seems to fly rather than swim. It flaps softly through the water, gliding with slow grace across the seafloor. Scientists have found them more than 7,000 meters deep, far below the range of sunlight. Their quiet motion feels like a ballet performed for darkness alone. The giant amphipod is a tiny crustacean that becomes a giant in the abyss, while its relatives near the surface are the size of a fingernail. It grows larger than a human hand in the deep. The cold and pressure slow its growth but extend its life. Down here, patience is rewarded with size and strength. And far below, where volcanic vents release clouds of mineral heat, live the tube worms. They have no mouths or stomachs. Instead, they rely on bacteria inside their bodies to convert the vents' chemicals into energy. Their red plumes wave gently in the current, a forest of life blooming in a place without sunlight. At these hydrothermal vents, life thrives in ways that rewrite what it means to exist. Temperatures can rise above 300 degrees Celsius. Yet the pressure prevents the water from boiling. Around these chimneys of heat, bacteria, worms, crabs, and fish gather in perfect balance. The vents breathe, and the ocean listens. There are also cold seeps, places where methane and other gases escape from the seabed in slow bubbles. Instead of fire, these vents offer cold nourishment. Entire ecosystems build around them, feeding on chemical energy rather than sunlight. The sea proves again that life can bloom anywhere patience exists. Microbes rule the deep ocean more than any visible creature. Trillions of them drift in every liter of water, processing carbon, producing oxygen, and linking every form of life above. They are the unseen architects of the planet's balance. The ocean's smallest beings hold the greatest responsibility. Among them are bioluminescent bacteria that live symbiotically inside animals. They rest within the skin of squids and fish, providing light in exchange for nutrients. When you see a soft blue glow in the deep, you might be witnessing the work of millions of these microscopic partners. Even in darkness, collaboration shines. The deep ocean floor is not flat but filled with mountains, valleys, and ridges taller than any seen on land. These underwater ranges, formed by shifting tectonic plates, stretch across the world like a hidden backbone of the planet. Earth's geography continues far beneath the horizon, silent but alive. Volcanic eruptions happen down here too, though no one sees them. When molten rock escapes, it hardens instantly, forming glassy surfaces and strange shapes. Entire new islands begin this way, quietly rising from darkness before ever touching air. The sea is both creator and cradle. Sediments drift for centuries before settling on the seafloor. They blanket everything in soft layers that grow only a few centimeters every 1,000 years. Within them lie traces of plankton shells, volcanic ash, and meteor dust. Each grain is a piece of time, carried patiently through the ocean's stillness. Sometimes, whale carcasses fall from the surface and land on the abyssal plains. These are called whale falls, and they become temporary worlds. Dozens of species feed, breed, and live around the bones for decades. Even in death, the great creatures of the surface give life to the unseen deep. Exploration of this realm began only recently. Submersibles and remotely operated vehicles carry cameras and sensors to record what no human eyes had ever seen. Their lights reveal alien beauty, creatures transparent, glowing, or shaped in impossible forms. Every descent brings new species and new wonder, as though the ocean were slowly unveiling its secrets. Despite all this discovery, more than 80% of the ocean remains unmapped, unobserved, and unexplored. There are entire mountain chains, valleys, and ecosystems waiting to be known. The sea holds more mysteries than stars in the night sky. To explore it is to explore the edges of imagination itself. The deeper you descend, the more the ocean begins to feel like another world. The colors vanish one by one until only the softest shades of blue remain. The sounds that once echoed at the surface fade into long, gentle vibrations that you feel rather than hear. Down here, time itself begins to slow, and the world turns to motionless peace. It is in these depths that you realize the ocean is not empty but vast with invisible motion. Every current carries whispers of faraway storms, and every grain of sediment drifts like a slow breath. The weight of the water around you presses gently, not as a burden but as an embrace. Each meter you descend becomes a step away from the noise of life above and closer to the planet's quiet heart. At 200 meters, sunlight begins to surrender. It reaches downward in long ribbons, scattered by floating particles until the beams look like strands of silk dissolving in ink. Fish shimmer briefly as they pass, their scales catching the last light before darkness takes hold. It is not the end of brightness but its transformation into something softer, older, and infinitely patient. This region, called the Twilight Zone, stretches from the edge of sunlight down to 1,000 meters. It is here that Earth's largest migration takes place every night. Billions of tiny creatures rise toward the surface to feed and sink again before dawn. They move like a living tide, following the moon, the currents, and instincts that have not changed for millions of years. It is a rhythm older than mountains. Within this twilight, many species hide in plain sight. Some use mirrored scales to reflect the faint glow from above, blending perfectly into their surroundings. Others are cloaked in deep black skin that absorbs light completely, creating bodies so dark they erase their own outlines. In this delicate balance of half light and shadow, invisibility becomes not just a strategy but an art perfected by evolution. The deeper you go, the colder and quieter it becomes. At 800 meters, the temperature steadies near freezing, and the silence turns absolute. Yet in that stillness, you hear new kinds of sounds, soft pulses, distant clicks, and faint hums that vibrate through the bones. Whales communicate through frequencies that can travel thousands of kilometers. To them, the ocean is a vast cathedral where every call echoes forever. Pressure also shapes this hidden world. Every 10 meters adds another layer of force, until the weight at the deepest trench equals that of 50 jumbo jets pressing down on a single body. But for the creatures born here, this pressure is not an enemy. It keeps their cells compact, their bodies supple, their movements graceful. What would destroy a machine strengthens the life that belongs to this realm. Imagine a fish with a body so soft it can fold under its own weight yet remain unbroken. Its organs contain no air, only gel-like fluids that cannot be crushed. Its bones are flexible, and its muscles flow like silk in water. These are adaptations to a home where fragility becomes endurance. If you could shine a light here, you would see clouds of plankton moving like slow galaxies. Tiny dots of life drift endlessly, feeding on invisible energy from the surface. Some glow faintly with bioluminescence. Others remain transparent, their shapes dissolving into water. Together they form an invisible network, connecting every layer of the ocean through movement and exchange. Deeper still lies the bathypelagic zone, where light is extinct and only living creatures create brightness. Here, the ocean feels infinite, the pressure unimaginable, and yet life continues with calm certainty. Fish with lantern-like organs glow in rhythmic pulses, using light as language. The darkness is filled with quiet conversations written in flashes and flickers. A human entering this world through a submersible experiences something close to transcendence. Outside the window, darkness stretches endlessly, pierced only by the occasional blue-green shimmer of a living light. The hum of the machine fades beneath the constant rhythm of water pressing against steel. Scientists describe their first descent as a spiritual experience, like floating through the universe beneath the sea. Sound behaves differently here. It moves faster, carrying messages farther than wind could ever allow. The call of a blue whale can travel across oceans, deepening in pitch as it moves. Submarines can detect these songs from thousands of miles away, each one a gentle reminder that connection persists even in silence. The sea is full of messages too deep for human ears. Temperature gradients form invisible layers of motion called thermoclines. They act as barriers, reflecting sound and trapping heat in thin, unseen sheets. When explorers cross them, the world shifts suddenly, the light bends, the currents change direction, and a sense of disorientation fills the water. It is as though the ocean hides its secrets behind transparent curtains. The animals here have evolved senses beyond human imagination. Some detect the faint electric fields produced by other living things. Others can sense pressure changes from the movement of a single fin hundreds of meters away. Their perception of space is not visual but vibrational, turning the entire ocean into a living map that guides them effortlessly through darkness. For a moment, imagine floating beside them. There is no up or down, no horizon, no surface to return to. Only the rhythm of your breath matching the steady pulse of the water. Every heartbeat echoes outward and is answered by the sea itself. You are not an intruder here but part of the great equilibrium, drifting through the veins of the planet. Far below, the temperature remains steady, and time feels slow. Movements become deliberate, not from exhaustion but from mastery of energy. The creatures of the deep know that speed wastes life, and so they glide, wait, and breathe in intervals that seem eternal. In this patience lies their perfection. And then there is light again, not from the sun but from life itself. Small dots of glowing blue drift past your eyes. They pulse gently in patterns that resemble constellations. Some creatures communicate in these flashes. Others warn of danger, and some simply express existence. Down here, illumination becomes identity. As you look deeper into this endless midnight, the mind grows quiet. You begin to sense that the ocean's stillness mirrors your own inner calm. Every sound fades into one soft hum. Every movement feels intentional, and the border between you and the water dissolves. The deep is no longer a mystery but a meditation, an ancient rhythm that carries the memory of the earth itself. As you move deeper into this world without sunlight, the boundaries of life become elastic. Every law that governs the surface begins to shift, replaced by rules written in silence and adaptation. The creatures here have evolved not to conquer but to endure, turning scarcity into elegance. In their patience lies the essence of survival itself. The sea at these depths is heavy and dense, yet it flows with a quiet rhythm. Invisible currents sweep through valleys and ridges, carrying nutrients and minerals from distant worlds above. They are slow rivers of gravity, unseen yet constant, shaping the evolution of everything that lives here. The movement is so gradual that it feels almost eternal, like time breathing. Bioluminescence, the soft glow born of chemical light, dominates this hidden realm. It is estimated that more than 3/4 of the organisms here can produce light. Each species has perfected its own color and rhythm, glowing with purpose rather than chance. The darkness is full of conversations written in photons. Some use light to communicate. Squids flash in patterns that express warning, affection, or invitation. Fish blink their lanterns in synchronized displays to attract mates or form schools in the shadows. Even jellyfish pulse with coded signals that ripple through the dark water like whispers. Every flicker has meaning, and every glow is a voice in the endless night. Other creatures use light as defense. When threatened, they release clouds of glowing particles to confuse predators. The sudden burst of blue and green creates the illusion of lightning beneath the waves. It startles the hunter long enough for the prey to vanish into darkness. The sea itself becomes a theater of illusion, performed in perfect silence. The deeper regions hold creatures that seem sculpted by imagination rather than biology. The anglerfish waits patiently in the stillness, its body adapted to invisibility except for the small glowing lure above its mouth. It waves the light gently, imitating prey until something approaches, and then strikes with a calm precision that wastes no motion. This patience defines the deep. The gulper eel stretches its jaw wider than its own body, swallowing creatures almost equal to its size. Its stomach expands like a balloon to store food for weeks, perhaps months. In a world where meals are rare, this capacity becomes wisdom. The eel survives not by constant pursuit but by stillness and storage, embracing the long rhythm of hunger and satisfaction. Even stranger are the siphonophores, colonies of thousands of connected beings that behave as one. Each unit in the colony performs a unique function. Some swim, some feed, some reproduce. Together they create a single living body that can extend for meters, glowing faintly as it drifts. The ocean here is filled with such contradictions, individuality and unity merging in quiet harmony. Hydrothermal vents rise from the seafloor like pillars of smoke. They exhale hot mineral-rich water into the freezing darkness, creating tiny oases of warmth. Around them, tube worms, crabs, and shrimp gather in dense colonies. Life here does not depend on sunlight but on chemistry. Microbes convert minerals and heat into food, forming the foundation of entire ecosystems built on invisible fire. If you could stand near one of these vents, you would see shimmering water that distorts light like glass. The temperature difference between vent fluid and seawater creates a constant mirage, bending reality itself. The smell of sulfur and minerals would fill the water, though no human senses it directly. The ocean's breath down here is both beautiful and alien. These vents are more than curiosities. They may hold the key to life's beginning. Many scientists believe that early Earth's first cells arose in such places. Powered by chemical energy rather than sunlight, minerals provided structure, heat offered stability, and water carried the ingredients of creation. The deep sea may not just be ancient, it may be the birthplace of everything. There are also cold seeps where methane bubbles rise gently from the sediment. They seem quiet, yet each bubble is a spark of energy feeding entire communities of clams, worms, and bacteria. The creatures here live without photosynthesis, depending entirely on chemical reactions between gas and seawater. It is another world inside a world, unseen and self-sufficient. The landscape of the deep is anything but flat. Mountains, ridges, and canyons stretch across the seafloor, forming the longest mountain chain on the planet, the mid-ocean ridge. It runs through every ocean, connecting continents with a spine of volcanic stone. Molten rock pushes upward here, slowly creating new seafloor while old crust sinks back into the mantle. The ocean is constantly remaking the Earth, 1 inch at a time. Above these ridges, there are trenches that descend deeper than Mount Everest is tall. The Mariana Trench, the deepest known, reaches nearly 11 kilometers. At its base lies the Challenger Deep, a place so extreme that few machines can endure it. Yet even there, life persists: tiny shrimp, strange fish, and microbial mats living in pressure beyond comprehension. The first explorers who reached those depths described it as entering a dream. The submersible's lights revealed swirls of silt, slow-moving creatures, and structures like towers of stone. When they turned off the lights, they saw flashes of bioluminescence all around, as if the sea itself had stars. Down there, the concept of the sky is inverted. The constellations drift upward instead of above. Scientists still send robotic vehicles to explore these trenches. Each descent brings new species, new shapes, and new questions. Some of these discoveries challenge everything we know about biology. There are microbes that can digest oil, metals, or even plastic. Others can survive radiation and temperatures that mimic alien worlds. The deep sea is a living laboratory of resilience. As you listen, imagine the slow heartbeat of this place. The currents pulse gently, the vents exhale, and the animals move with unhurried grace. Everything here follows the rhythm of necessity and balance. The deep sea does not rush because it has nothing to prove. It simply exists, vast and patient, holding the planet's oldest wisdom in its silence. The ocean at these depths is not only a realm of survival but a landscape of extraordinary artistry. Every creature here seems designed to test the imagination, combining function with beauty in ways that defy all surface logic. Some are translucent like spun glass, others armored in crystal scales, and some are living lanterns, their bodies glowing in rhythm with unseen tides. The deep sea does not compete for attention, it simply glows. Quietly and continuously, like the heartbeat of the Earth itself. One of the most remarkable inhabitants of this world is the Dumbo octopus. Its delicate fins, shaped like ears, move gently as it glides through the still water. Unlike most of its relatives, it does not squirt ink or dart away. Instead, it dances slowly, each motion perfectly measured. In this infinite darkness, grace becomes its defense. Nearby, ghostly jellyfish float in slow spirals. Their tentacles shimmer with pale blue light that fades before touching the water around them. Some of these jellyfish are so fragile that the slightest current would tear them apart. Yet they persist in one of the most turbulent environments on Earth. Their survival is an act of pure faith in the rhythm of the ocean. Siphonophores, some of the longest creatures known, drift through these waters like ribbons of living light. Each can reach lengths of 40 meters or more, though few are ever seen whole. They are not one being but many. Thousands of tiny creatures linked together, functioning as a single body. When you see one, you realize that unity can be built from individuality, and harmony can arise from countless small lives moving as one. There are also predators that rule this silent world. The giant squid, long a myth of sailors and storytellers, is very real, with eyes the size of dinner plates. It hunts by touch and vibration, detecting even the faintest movement in the water. When it strikes, its tentacles move faster than sight, wrapping around prey in perfect coordination. It is the unseen master of the abyss, its existence reminding us that myths are often born from truth. The colossal squid, even larger, is built for the slow wars of darkness. Its hooks, embedded in the ends of its tentacles, leave scars on the skin of whales that venture too close. Battles between these giants happen in silence, hidden from every witness. What we know of them comes only from the marks left behind, the signatures of encounters written on the flesh of the sea's largest creatures. Scattered across the seafloor are whale falls, places where the bodies of whales rest after their final descent. In this emptiness, a single carcass becomes a forest. Crabs, worms, and snails gather to feed on the remains. Bacteria bloom, creating heat and energy for others to survive. A whale fall can support life for decades, proving that even in death, the ocean finds renewal. Nearby, forests of glass sponges rise from the sediment. Their structures, built from silica, form delicate lattices stronger than steel yet soft to the touch. Some of these colonies are thousands of years old. They filter the water endlessly, pulling bacteria and organic matter through their porous walls. Each sponge is both an organism and an architect, shaping its environment quietly. Around hydrothermal vents, ecosystems thrive that have never seen sunlight. Tubeworms stand like towers, their red plumes fluttering in the flow. Crabs scuttle across the rocks, feeding on bacterial mats that coat the surface. Fish with no eyes swim fearlessly among clouds of shimmering minerals. This is life built from chemistry alone. Life that proves creation does not require light. Further away, cold seeps form new habitats, releasing methane and other gases into the deep. These places are less dramatic than vents but no less important. Their slow bubbling feeds mussels, clams, and shrimp that harbor bacteria in their tissues. The animals here are walking partnerships, living testaments to cooperation between species. In the deep, life depends not on competition but communion. Submersibles that explore these places must move carefully, for a single touch can disturb centuries of calm. Pilots describe the feeling of drifting among these fragile cities as humbling, as though they were trespassing in a cathedral of life. The lights from their machines reveal colors unseen anywhere else: iridescent blues, silvers, and greens that shimmer with the quality of dreams. The water absorbs sound, leaving only the faint hum of the craft and the heartbeat of the explorers within. Every discovery from the deep sea rewrites our understanding of biology. Scientists have found enzymes that work at temperatures near boiling, proteins that remain stable under immense pressure, and molecules that may one day heal human diseases. The ocean is not only a place of beauty but a library of solutions written by evolution over billions of years. To study it is to read the most ancient text on Earth. The creatures of the deep live on the edge of possibility. They stretch the limits of what is thought to be survivable, proving that life can exist wherever energy can flow. Some survive entirely on hydrogen sulfide. Some endure in complete darkness, and others drift through freezing currents as though weightless. Each is a living answer to a question about endurance. It is easy to forget that every breath we take is tied to this hidden world. The deep ocean regulates climate, stores carbon, and produces oxygen through microscopic organisms. Without its balance, the surface would soon lose its calm. The quiet depths act as the lungs of the planet, inhaling and exhaling with a patience measured in centuries. The thought of this interconnection brings comfort. Even as you listen now, the ocean is working beneath your feet, keeping the world stable and alive. It holds the memories of creation, the cycles of birth and decay, the stories of adaptation written in silence. Every pulse, every shimmer, every drifting current carries meaning. The deep does not need to be seen to be understood. And as you picture this vast landscape, the glowing forms, the gentle currents, the slow dance of survival, you realize that the ocean is not foreign at all. It is simply a reflection of the universe within you, silent, resilient, and full of light that appears only in darkness. The deeper you go, the clearer everything becomes. There comes a point where the ocean feels infinite, a quiet so vast that even imagination hesitates. You have now reached the abyssal zone, the deep plain that stretches across most of the planet's floor. It is flat, dark, and seemingly still, yet it holds more motion than meets the eye. Fine layers of sediment drift endlessly, settling in patterns shaped by unseen currents. These plains, wider than continents, are where time itself seems to rest. The creatures that live here are masters of minimalism. Food is scarce, so every movement is measured. Some species, like the sea cucumber, feed slowly on falling particles of organic matter. They move inch by inch, recycling nutrients that would otherwise vanish into the darkness. Others, like brittle stars, wave their arms to capture fragments drifting in the water, dancing slowly as they feed. In this silence, nothing is wasted. A little deeper still lies the Haddle Zone, the realm of trenches, where the ocean floor folds into crevices that descend nearly 11 kilometers. This is the deepest part of the Earth's biosphere, a place where pressure is beyond comprehension. The weight above is so immense that the water behaves almost like solid glass. Yet even here, there are fish that glide effortlessly, their bodies flexible, their organs adapted to the crush. To them, this pressure is not a burden but home. In the Haddle depths, light is unknown, yet life continues to express beauty. Amphipods with transparent shells swim gracefully through the void. Snailfish, pale and delicate, drift with ease, their skin so thin that it seems woven from moonlight. Microbes colonize rocks, turning mineral surfaces into living mosaics. What might seem barren to human eyes is, in truth, abundant. Exploration of these realms has revealed more than just life. It has revealed connection. Sediment samples showed traces of pollen, plastic fibers, and soot from distant cities, proving that the deep sea remembers everything that falls from above. Every storm, every fire, every human act eventually settles here. The ocean's floor is not separate from our world, it is our reflection. A vast memory that keeps record without judgment. The submersibles that travel to these depths must endure conditions no other machines face. Their steel or titanium shells creak under pressure, and their lights cut only a few meters into the blackness. Pilots describe the sensation as floating inside eternity, surrounded by weight yet free from gravity. When they switch off the lights, they are met not with emptiness but with countless points of light, tiny organisms glowing softly in response to the disturbance. The deep always answers with light. Sound at this depth behaves strangely. It bends and refracts through layers of varying temperature and density, forming what scientists call the deep sound channel. In this layer, sound can travel thousands of kilometers without fading. Whales use it as a natural highway for their songs, sending calls from one ocean to another. Their voices, slow and resonant, connect distant worlds in a conversation that never ends. The ancient rhythm of these calls has existed far longer than human history. Blue whales, fin whales, and even smaller species use sound not only to communicate but to feel their surroundings. Their low frequencies bounce off mountains and valleys beneath the sea, mapping the world in echoes. Listening to them, scientists can trace entire migrations across hemispheres. The ocean sings to itself, and the song is eternal. Above the plains and trenches, volcanic ridges continue to reshape the earth. Lava pours slowly from cracks, cooling into black rock that glistens faintly under submersible light. Around these newborn lands, microbial life gathers first, followed by larger creatures that depend on them. Each eruption creates not destruction but renewal. The ocean's floor is a constant rebirth, a reminder that creation and transformation are inseparable. There are also vast regions of manganese nodules, metallic spheres that cover thousands of square kilometers. They grow so slowly that one the size of a fist may take millions of years to form. These nodules contain valuable elements like cobalt and nickel, tempting industries to mine them. But the deep is fragile, and its recovery is measured not in decades but in ages. To disturb it is to stir the oldest silence on Earth. Every discovery down here reshapes how humanity understands itself. The ocean shows us that life is not fragile but infinitely adaptable. It teaches that survival is not about strength but balance, not about domination but coexistence. The creatures of the deep live without fear, in harmony with conditions that would destroy anything unprepared. They are proof that peace can exist in even the harshest environments. When researchers collect samples and bring them to the surface, many of the organisms cannot survive. The pressure difference tears them apart, and they dissolve before reaching light. It is a sobering reminder that each world, no matter how small, has its own perfect balance. What thrives below cannot live above. The deep sea keeps its secrets because it must. And yet, humanity continues to reach down, drawn by curiosity and reverence. Each dive is a conversation between intelligence and wonder, between technology and nature. We send machines to record, not to conquer. Every image, every sound, every moment of contact becomes a fragment of knowledge returned to the surface. In this exchange, understanding deepens not only of the ocean but of ourselves. Imagine now that you are inside one of these submersibles. The lights are dim, your reflection faint against the glass. Outside, darkness flows endlessly, interrupted only by glowing shapes that drift past like slow-moving stars. The hum of the engine fades, replaced by the sound of your heartbeat in rhythm with the sea. For a moment, there is no separation between you and the world outside. You are weightless, timeless, part of the deep. In this stillness, the ocean feels alive in ways that cannot be explained. The slow movement of currents, the flicker of distant light, the quiet patience of creatures unseen, all of it forms a symphony of peace. This is not emptiness but fulfillment. The abyss, so feared by imagination, reveals itself as the calmest place in existence. And as you begin to rise slowly back toward the world above, you realize that the deep is not just beneath the surface, it is within every living thing. Its patience shapes the rain. Its pressure drives the tides. Its silence teaches the meaning of calm. The ocean's heart beats inside you, steady and eternal, reminding you that depth is not darkness but understanding. You have journeyed through darkness, through layers of water so heavy and still that time itself seemed to slow. Now, as you drift within that stillness, something begins to change. The science you have witnessed, the facts and forces that shape the deep, start to blend with feeling. Knowledge softens into reflection, and the boundaries between the ocean and the self begin to blur. What was once a distant world now feels like a memory, ancient and familiar, something you have always carried inside you. The deep sea has shown you that silence is not emptiness. It is a language spoken slowly, one that requires listening rather than searching. In that silence lives a truth, that the universe does not rush. Every motion, every shimmer of life, happens in its own time. The whales do not hurry to sing, the currents do not hurry to turn, and the light does not hurry to fade. Everything exists in balance, patient and deliberate. The same rhythm that guides the ocean guides your own breathing now, slow, even, eternal. As you float in this reflection, you begin to understand that depth, in all its meanings, is never about darkness. It is about seeing more clearly what light truly is. The deep sea is not the absence of brightness but its teacher. Down here, light becomes sacred because it is rare. It teaches that beauty is not constant but precious, something to be noticed and cherished in the moments when it appears. Every glow, every spark, every fleeting shimmer of life becomes an act of grace. In this realization, the ocean begins to mirror your inner world. Beneath the surface of thought and memory, beneath worry and noise, lies a quiet current that has always been there. It moves without sound, steady and patient, connecting every part of your being. The mind, like the sea, holds its own trenches and plains, its own drifting lights and distant echoes. Sometimes, peace is not something to be found but something already waiting in those hidden depths. The creatures you have met in the deep are teachers in disguise. The anglerfish, patient and still, reminds you that light often comes from within. The Dumbo octopus, floating gracefully through darkness, shows that gentleness can be strength. The tube worms, thriving in places no light has ever touched, prove that life adapts even when conditions seem impossible. Every organism tells the same quiet truth: resilience is born from calm. And as you think of these beings, you realize that the ocean's story is also the Earth's story, and yours. Everything is connected through cycles too vast for one lifetime to see. The carbon exhaled by a whale becomes food for microscopic plants. The bones of ancient fish turn to sediment that forms mountains. Rain that falls on your skin today began as vapor that once rose from the sea. To exist is to participate in this infinite exchange, a balance between giving and receiving. There is humility in that thought. The deep sea holds more power than any storm, yet it moves gently. It transforms mountains without noise, creates new life without witness, and sustains the world without recognition. It does not need to be seen to matter. Perhaps meaning, too, is like that, quiet, unseen, yet steady beneath everything we know. The pressure that defines the deep does not crush, it shapes. It molds creatures into perfection by demanding balance. Just as life shapes you through weight and challenge, when you feel pressure, remember that the deep exists within you as well. It is not here to break you but to teach you endurance. To show that calmness under weight is the truest form of strength. As you rise gently toward shallower water, the world begins to brighten. Light returns slowly, like memory waking. Each layer you pass carries its own hue, its own temperature, its own whisper. You can almost feel the ocean breathing around you. Exhaling with every meter of ascent, the journey upward feels like returning to yourself, to the place where surface and soul meet. And when you finally glimpse the shimmer of the surface far above, you understand something simple and profound. The deep is not separate from the light, it is its foundation. Without the darkness below, there could be no reflection, no calm, no rhythm. The stillness of the deep gives meaning to every sparkle at the top. It reminds you that peace does not come from escaping depth but from embracing it. Now, let yourself rest in that understanding. The ocean has shared its wisdom, and its voice will stay with you long after the sound fades. You are floating between worlds, between knowledge and feeling, between the measurable and the infinite. And in that space, quiet and vast, you sense what the sea has always known, that everything is connected. That calm is eternal, and that depth, whether of water or of soul, is where all beginnings truly live. The ocean has always been the beginning. Long before trees or air or even color existed on land, the sea was already breathing. Its waves were the first voice of the planet, whispering across a landscape of stone and mist. From its depths came the earliest sparks of life, tiny cells gathering warmth from vents and light from chemistry. They divided and changed, forming patterns that would one day walk upon the shore and look back in wonder. When you listen closely, you can still hear that memory, the pulse of creation echoing through every drop of salt water. Somewhere out there, beneath the calm surface, those ancient processes continue. Microbes still gather around vents, turning minerals into energy, repeating the same dance that built the foundation of life itself. They do not know time as humans do. To them, a million years is only another cycle of current and temperature. And yet, their slow work sustains the balance of the modern world. They are the unseen architects, patient and tireless, rewriting the chemistry of existence one molecule at a time. Somewhere in you, that patience also lives. The same elements that form the ocean flow through your blood. Sodium, calcium, magnesium, all born from the sea, carried forward in every living cell. Your heartbeat follows the rhythm of waves, expanding and contracting like a tide. Even your tears taste faintly of the ocean, a quiet reminder of where life began. You are not separate from the deep, you are made of it. As you think of this connection, the distinction between body and planet begins to fade. The ocean breathes in long cycles, inhaling carbon, exhaling oxygen, balancing the fragile air that sustains all life. In your own lungs, a smaller version of the same exchange occurs. You inhale what the sea provides. You exhale what the sea absorbs. You and the ocean share the same breath, separated only by scale. If you could rise far above the earth, you would see that the ocean covers most of its surface, shaping the blue marble that drifts through space. The color of the planet is the color of calm. From that distant view, the continents seem small, the cities invisible. Only the water endures, shimmering softly beneath the sun. It holds the planet in equilibrium, absorbing its heat, guiding its winds, and reflecting its light back to the stars. Without the sea, the world would lose its voice. Somewhere out there, currents flow like the veins of the earth, They connect polar ice to tropical warmth, surface breezes to deep abyssal calm. These rivers of water, driven by temperature and salt, carry more energy than all the winds of the atmosphere combined. They regulate climate, transport nutrients, and weave together every ecosystem on the planet. When they slow or shift, the world listens, because their rhythm defines its balance. Somewhere in you, those same cycles exist. Your thoughts drift like currents, deep and unseen, carrying fragments of memory from one moment to another. The warmth of joy, the chill of fear, the stillness of peace, all flow in patterns shaped by experience and reflection. Just as the ocean never stops moving, the mind never stops feeling. Both seek balance between depth and light. Scientists have discovered that the deep ocean stores more carbon than all forests and soils combined. It absorbs the excess heat of the atmosphere, preventing the surface from burning. It is the planet's great regulator, a silent guardian that endures every change. Even as storms rage above, the deep remains calm, adjusting slowly, preserving equilibrium. From it, we learn that stillness does not mean weakness, it means wisdom. Somewhere out there, coral reefs rise like underwater cities. They are built by tiny organisms, yet they shelter thousands of species. Their colors come from the partnership between coral animals and microscopic algae. Together, they create worlds of beauty and function, thriving only when harmony is maintained. But as the ocean warms, that balance trembles, and their colors fade into white. The sea reminds us that beauty depends on care. Somewhere in you, that same fragility exists. Your emotions, like coral, depend on balance. Too much heat, and clarity fades. Too little light, and growth slows. The lesson of the reef is not only about ecology but about empathy. It teaches that even the most vibrant systems can vanish if neglected. Caring for the ocean becomes a way of caring for the self, an act of gratitude toward the source that sustains all things. When explorers descend to the deep, they often describe a strange feeling of peace, as if they were returning home. The silence there is not empty but full of memory. The pressure, though immense, feels protective. The dark, though infinite, glows with life. To witness the deep is to witness the soul of the earth exposed in its truest form. Somewhere out there, every current tells a story of time. The Gulf Stream carries warmth born near the equator to the frozen edges of the Atlantic. The Antarctic circumpolar current circles the globe without end, linking all oceans into one. Even now, as you breathe, these vast waters move in silent harmony, turning the planet's heartbeat. Somewhere in you, the same rhythm continues. Your blood circulates with quiet purpose, moving nutrients, carrying warmth, and maintaining balance. When you sleep, the pulse slows, mirroring the ocean's rest between waves. When you wake, it rises again, like a tide returning to shore. To live is to echo the sea. As you picture this connection, the idea of separation becomes impossible. The ocean is not just beneath you, it is within you, around you, and beyond you. It teaches that the same laws govern every scale of life, from the smallest cell to the largest current, from the human heart to the cosmic tide. What happens in one part of the world ripples through all others. The sea does not belong to us. We belong to it. And in that truth lies peace. You are not drifting alone through this universe. You are part of the same breath that moves whales across oceans, that shapes storms, that nourishes rain. Every inhale you take is a continuation of an ancient rhythm, older than stars, steady as the sea. The deep has always known this. That connection is the purest form of calm. Somewhere out there, light travels endlessly through space before meeting the surface of the sea. It bends, softens, and disperses into countless beams, feeding life in ways no eye can fully see. A single photon that left the sun 8 minutes ago might become part of a coral bloom, a glimmer on a fish's scale, or the warmth that helps a whale rise to breathe. The journey of that light is the same as the journey of life, long, patient, and purposeful. Somewhere in you, that light continues. Every cell of your body holds traces of energy that began in stars. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the salt that flows through you, all forged in the furnace of distant suns. When the ocean reflects sunlight, it reflects your origin. To look into its shimmering blue is to look into your own beginning. The echo of stardust breathing beneath the waves. The ocean connects not only continents but also centuries. The water that surrounds us now is the same that once bathed ancient reefs, carried the first canoes, and reflected the eyes of early explorers. It evaporates, condenses, and returns as rain, endlessly reborn. Every drop you touch has lived 1,000 lives, witnessed continents drift, and felt the pull of the moon countless times. The sea is the memory of the earth made liquid. Somewhere out there, the moon draws its gentle influence. Its gravity tugs at the ocean, shaping the tides, pulling entire masses of water across thousands of kilometers. The tides breathe with a rhythm as constant as a heartbeat, rising and falling in perfect precision. For billions of years, they have kept the planet in motion, marking time long before any clock existed. Somewhere in you, that lunar rhythm still whispers. Your body, too, follows cycles, the ebb and flow of sleep, of energy, of emotion. Just as the tides follow the moon, your thoughts follow invisible gravity. When you rest, you sink inward like the tide receding. When you awaken, you return, full and bright as the sea beneath a full moon. To live in balance is to move with those unseen rhythms rather than against them. In the deep, even without sunlight, echoes of that lunar pull can be felt. Certain creatures rise toward the surface when the moon is full, drawn by the faintest traces of its silver light. Others synchronize their spawning to the exact moment of the lunar cycle. Across miles of water, life moves in harmony with the stars. The ocean and the cosmos are not separate. They speak the same language of gravity and rhythm. If you look outward to the night sky, you may notice how it resembles the sea. The darkness is vast, the light scattered, the distances endless. The galaxies drift as slowly as plankton, carried by invisible currents of gravity. Somewhere, far away, another world may have oceans of its own. Another version of this story unfolding in quiet reflection. Perhaps every sea is part of one great mirror, reflecting existence back to itself. Somewhere in you, that vastness resides, the space between your thoughts. The calm that exists before words form is an ocean of its own. In that space, there is no boundary between inner and outer, between self and world. Just as the universe expands endlessly outward, so does the depth of your inner calm. To explore it is to travel without moving, to discover without seeking. The ocean, like space, is full of mysteries yet to be touched. Even now, more than 80% of its depths remain unmapped. What lies there? New species, unknown minerals, or ecosystems that rewrite science, waits quietly. It does not demand discovery, it simply exists. Perfect in its obscurity, the unknown is not something to fear but something to respect. Mystery is the oxygen of wonder. Somewhere out there, The planet's magnetic field threads through the ocean like invisible silk. Migratory animals feel its pull, following lines of force as though guided by memory. Turtles cross entire oceans using it as compass, returning decades later to the same beach where they were born. Salmon sense subtle changes in magnetism, allowing them to find their way home. The Earth's invisible heart beats through the sea, calling its children back across generations. Somewhere in you, that same orientation exists. You are drawn toward what feels like home, even when you do not know why. Certain places, sounds, or moments awaken a deep familiarity, as if answering a call older than your memory. The compass of the soul works silently. Just as the magnetic field guides the sea's wanderers, it reminds you that every journey, no matter how far it strays, circles back to belonging. The deep sea is a reminder of humility. It holds more knowledge than we can ever measure, more complexity than we can fully understand, and yet it does not boast. It does not demand praise. It simply exists, giving life without asking for acknowledgement. The ocean's greatness lies in its silence, a strength born of restraint. It teaches that true power is quiet, and true beauty is selfless. Somewhere out there, currents rise from the depths to the surface, bringing nutrients and minerals that feed new life. This process, called upwelling, transforms desolate waters into fields of abundance. It is the sea's way of renewal. What lies forgotten below becomes nourishment above. The deep gives to the shallow. The past gives to the present. The unseen gives to the visible. Somewhere in you, that same renewal occurs. The lessons buried deep within, the quiet wisdom earned through struggle, rise again when you need them most. Your thoughts feed your growth just as deep waters feed coral reefs. The act of remembering becomes an act of transformation. The ocean's cycles mirror the human spirit's capacity to heal. When storms rage at the surface, the deep remains calm. It endures without resistance, unaffected by the chaos above. And when the surface quiets, the deep sends its slow pulse upward, restoring harmony. You are like that ocean, capable of calm even when the world trembles. The stillness inside you is not absence but refuge. So breathe now. As the sea breathes, let your thoughts drift like plankton in a gentle current. The same forces that move the tides and stars move quietly within you. The boundaries between ocean, earth, and self dissolve, leaving only connection. Somewhere out there, the universe expands. Somewhere in you, it does too. And between the two, there is only peace. Somewhere out there, the ocean carries the sound of rain falling on its surface. Each drop a small reunion of sky and sea. The moment the water meets itself, a circle expands outward, fading softly into stillness. Billions of such ripples occur every day. Yet not one is ever the same. Each is a quiet reminder that even repetition can be unique. That peace is found not in stillness alone but in the endless motion of gentle return. Somewhere in you, that same rain falls. Thoughts arrive like droplets, each one forming a small wave within the mind before disappearing into calm. Some thoughts are heavy with memory, others light as mist, but they all dissolve into the same sea of awareness, becoming part of something larger than themselves. The ocean within your mind does not resist them, it welcomes and transforms them, turning even storm clouds into reflection. Beneath the waves, there are currents that flow across centuries. Deep waters born in polar coldness sink to the bottom and travel slowly across the globe, carrying oxygen and nutrients in a loop that sustains all life. These thermohaline currents are the ocean's heartbeat, a slow pulse that keeps the world alive. If they were to stop, the rhythm of the planet would falter. The deep sea teaches that consistency is the gentlest form of strength. Somewhere out there, a school of fish moves as one body. Hundreds, sometimes thousands, swim together in perfect formation, turning and shifting as if controlled by a single mind. They respond not through thought but through feeling, each sensing the movement of the others through the pressure of the water. It is a dance of instinct and trust. To watch them is to see unity made visible. Somewhere in you, that same synchrony exists. The rhythm of your heart and breath, the balance of your body's chemistry, the quiet cooperation of every cell, all form a harmony too intricate to perceive. You are a living constellation of connection, your smallest parts moving in perfect coordination. Like the school of fish, your balance depends not on control but on trust. At the edges of continents, the ocean reveals its creative patience. Waves shape cliffs, carve caves, and build shores grain by grain. What looks like destruction is, in truth, a sculpting of beauty. The land yields to the sea, and the sea offers it form. Together they compose the endless dialogue of creation. If the waves ever stopped, the world would lose its art. Somewhere in you, the same shaping occurs. Time wears smooth the rough edges of thought, carving wisdom from experience. The moments that once felt like storms become gentle patterns upon reflection. The sea teaches you that growth is not sudden, it is slow, soft, and inevitable. What feels like erosion is often just transformation. Far below, there are places untouched by any sunlight, where silence feels thicker than matter. Yet even there, life persists, slow, deliberate, luminous. Creatures feed on the smallest traces of energy, living off what the world above discards. Nothing is wasted. Everything is recycled into existence. It is an ecosystem built on grace, proving that life needs little more than balance to endure. Somewhere out there, volcanic ridges rise continuously, building new crust at the bottom of the world. The planet grows invisibly, expanding from within, just as stars shed light without effort. These mountains are unseen monuments to persistence. They remind us that creation is not always visible, but it is always happening. Somewhere in you, that same creation continues. New thoughts form, old ones dissolve, and ideas rise from the depth of stillness like mountains from the seafloor. You may not see them yet, but they shape your world from beneath. The mind, like the ocean, renews itself constantly, quietly forming the ground upon which new understanding stands. The sea also holds memory in its salinity. Every drop carries traces of minerals washed from ancient rocks, fragments of stars long extinguished. The salt of the ocean has been recycled since the beginning of time, never disappearing, only changing form. When you taste the sea, you are tasting the past. When you breathe its scent, you are inhaling the history of the earth. Somewhere in you, that same history resides. Your body remembers sunlight from childhood, voices from years ago, and feelings long forgotten. Like the sea, you carry every experience forward, transforming it into quiet wisdom. The depth of your calm does not come from absence but from accumulation. Peace, like salinity, is the result of endurance. Scientists call the deep sea the largest habitat on Earth, yet it remains the least explored. More people have walked on the moon than have seen its deepest trenches. This mystery humbles even the most advanced technology. It reminds humanity that discovery is endless, that curiosity has no finish line. The unknown is not a barrier, it is an invitation. Somewhere out there, the ocean mirrors the sky, Its surface catches light and wind, reflecting clouds, stars, and color. When you look across the horizon, you are seeing both above and below at once. The meeting of sea and sky is the edge of perception, where two infinities touch. Somewhere in you, that same meeting place exists. Between thought and breath, between knowing and feeling, there is a space of quiet awareness. In that space, opposites dissolve, light and dark, past and future, self and world. The ocean within you meets the sky of your consciousness, and together they form the horizon of peace. The deeper you go into these reflections, the more you realize that science and wonder are not separate languages. They are two ways of describing the same truth, that life endures through harmony. The equations of physics, the poetry of tides, the chemistry of light, all speak together in one voice. To listen to them is to remember that the universe is not random but rhythmic. Somewhere out there, beyond every horizon, the sea continues without end. Somewhere in you, its echo lingers, the same patience that shapes coral reefs, the same calm that steadies the abyss, the same rhythm that carries stars, all reside within your being. You are not small in the face of the ocean, you are part of its reflection. And so the journey continues, not downward this time, but inward. The sea no longer feels distant, it feels like home. The deeper you listen, the quieter everything becomes. The quieter everything becomes, the more you understand. Somewhere out there, the ocean stretches toward horizons so distant they seem to curve into infinity. The waves, though immense, move with rhythm and restraint. From above, satellites watch them ripple across the surface like the breath of a sleeping world. From below, those same waves are only a faint shimmer of light and vibration. Every movement at the surface is translated into a whisper that travels downward, echoing through miles of stillness. The ocean listens to itself with perfect patience. Somewhere in you, that same listening exists. Beneath the constant waves of thought and noise, there is a deep current of awareness that never stops hearing. You may not always notice it, but it is there, steady, calm, always awake. When you grow still, when your breathing slows, that current rises gently to meet you. It is the part of you that observes without judgment, that waits without hurry, that forgives without forgetting. The ocean's vastness gives perspective to the fleeting nature of human life. To the sea, a century is a passing ripple, a millennium, a tide. Its memory spans the birth of continents and the fall of empires. The cliffs shaped by waves today will be sand tomorrow. And that sand will one day harden into stone again. Nothing here is lost, only transformed. The ocean teaches impermanence not as an ending but as renewal. Somewhere out there, a whale moves through water so dense and blue it might as well be sky. Its song begins low, then rises, vibrating through layers of current until it fades miles away. Another answers, and then another, until their calls form a network of sound across the sea. These voices map the ocean in melody, linking creatures that will never meet. The song of a whale is not only communication, it is a geography of belonging. Somewhere in you, that same song resonates. The frequencies are not of sound but of emotion. The vibrations of empathy that connect one heart to another. When you feel the sorrow or joy of another being, you are hearing that invisible music. It is the same rhythm that unites the whales, the same pulse that guides the tides, the same energy that moves stars through space. Connection is the universe remembering itself. Deep beneath the surface, there are hydrothermal vents glowing like veins of fire. The water around them swirls with heat and minerals. sustaining creatures that live on chemistry instead of sunlight. Here, where darkness is complete, the origins of life still burn. Scientists believe that this is where the story began, where the first cells learned to convert energy into existence. Every living thing since then carries that spark, passed from ocean to organism, from molecule to memory. Somewhere out there, that same spark travels still. It moves through generations, through ecosystems, through every breath and heartbeat. It is neither lost nor weakened. It simply changes form, seeking new ways to express itself. Life is not a chain but a wave, passing endlessly from one crest to another. Somewhere in you, that wave continues. The energy that moves the sea also moves your heart. The same chemical reactions that sustain creatures in the abyss sustain the cells that form your thoughts. You are made of the same processes, the same cycles, the same laws that govern the tide. There is no separation between the biology of the ocean and the poetry of your being. Both are expressions of the same equation written in light and salt and time. At the ocean's surface, storms rage, winds churn water into chaos, and waves rise higher than buildings. Yet beneath that turbulence, the deep remains perfectly calm. The energy of the storm may disturb the first few hundred meters. But below that, everything is still. The pressure, the cold, the darkness, all remain undisturbed. The sea reminds you that peace is not the absence of motion but the ability to stay steady within it. Somewhere out there, lightning strikes the water, its energy dissipating in threads of light that vanish almost instantly. Somewhere else, glaciers melt, sending ancient ice back into the sea. Every action above finds its reflection below. The planet is a conversation between sky and water, between heat and depth. Balance is not static, it is constant exchange. Somewhere in you, that balance plays quietly. The mind shifts between light and shadow, between rest and thought, between memory and dream. When one side grows too heavy, the other restores it. You do not need to force harmony, you only need to allow it. The body, like the sea, already knows how to return to equilibrium. It has done so for millions of years. The more we explore the deep, the more we realize how little we truly know. Every dive brings new species, new structures, new patterns of life, transparent fish with mirror eyes, crabs that cultivate bacteria on their shells, worms that live within rocks, all exist beyond imagination. The ocean's creativity seems infinite, yet it follows simple principles: balance, patience, and adaptation. It is a scientist and an artist, a mathematician and a poet. Somewhere out there, human technology floats on fragile vessels, descending into the dark with lights and cameras. But for every image we capture, there are countless moments we miss. The deep is not something that can be fully measured or mapped, it must be felt. True exploration is not about seeing everything but about understanding that wonder has no end. Somewhere in you, exploration never ends either. Every realization, every quiet breath, every glance inward uncovers another depth. You are not a closed system but a living ocean of awareness, full of currents still to be discovered. The surface of consciousness glimmers, but the true richness lies below. To know yourself fully is to dive into that stillness without fear. In the deep, the silence can feel eternal, yet it hums with energy. Molecules vibrate, cells divide, and invisible waves of heat and motion fill the space. Even in perfect quiet, creation continues. This is the nature of existence: to move, to change, to persist. The sea does not question why it flows. And you do not need to question why you are. You simply are, vast and whole, an ocean contained within a single moment. As you rise once more toward the surface, light begins to return. The blue brightens into turquoise. The shadows fade into color. The sound of distant waves reaches your ears again, gentle and familiar. You realize that you have not left the deep at all, it has come with you. Its calm has settled within your chest. Its rhythm echoes in your pulse. Its patience lives in your breath. Somewhere out there, the ocean continues its endless dance beneath stars that shimmer across the surface. Somewhere in you, that same shimmer glows. The world above and the world below mirror each other, infinite and inseparable. And between them, you drift peacefully, carried by the oldest current of all, the current of being. The surface returns slowly, like dawn rising after an endless night. You emerge not with noise but with stillness. Your body light in the water. Your breath matching the rhythm of the tide. The ocean stretches in every direction, its surface trembling with gentle light. Above it, clouds drift in silence. And beyond them, the vastness of space begins again. You are between two infinities now, the sky above and the deep below, floating in the middle of peace. Everything you have seen, everything you have learned, now feels like memory. The strange creatures glowing in darkness, the silent pressure that holds the world, the hidden mountains and plains that stretch beneath the waves, they all exist inside you. They are not distant discoveries but quiet reflections of your own depths. The ocean has shown you what it means to be vast and patient, to endure through stillness rather than motion. You think back to the beginning, when you first imagined descending into darkness. At first, it felt foreign and mysterious. But now that same darkness feels like home. It is not emptiness but sanctuary. A place where everything slows until truth becomes visible. In the deep, light has meaning because it is rare. Sound matters because it is precious. And life feels miraculous because it exists at all. The ocean mirrors the mind in this way. Both hold layers of complexity unseen from the surface. Thoughts drift like currents, memories settle like sand, and emotions rise and fall like tides. Sometimes storms form, wild and loud, but even they pass, leaving calm in their wake. The stillness that remains afterward is not absence, it is wisdom. You have learned that depth is not danger but understanding. Somewhere out there, waves are breaking gently on a distant shore. The sound travels across miles, reaching ears that will never see where it began. That sound carries the voice of time itself, the same rhythm that once shaped continents and guided the moon. It tells you that everything moves in cycles, rise and fall. Appearance and disappearance, beginning and renewal. There is no true end, only transformation. The deep sea has been a teacher without words. It has shown you patience in the drift of creatures that move once a day. It has taught you resilience in the lives that bloom around heat and darkness. It has whispered humility in the silence that surrounds all things. Even pressure, once feared, becomes guidance. Even cold becomes calm. The ocean's strength lies in its ability to yield. You are beginning to feel how these lessons extend beyond water. The same principles govern everything around you. Forests breathe in rhythm with the ocean's tides. Clouds form from the sea's exhalation. And rivers return to it in endless gratitude. Every drop that leaves the sea eventually finds its way home. This is how balance endures, through the promise of return. When you look at the horizon, you see no edge. The sea curves gently, fading into the air, and the air dissolves into sky. It is impossible to tell where one ends and the other begins. That is the nature of all things that are truly connected. Boundaries are illusions drawn by eyes that have forgotten to feel. The heart knows better. It senses the merging of worlds, the quiet continuity that links everything together. Somewhere out there, light reflects off waves in patterns that change each second. No two ripples are ever the same, yet all are part of one motion. This is how creation speaks, through diversity held within unity. Every creature, every wave, every human thought is one variation of the same melody. The sea never repeats itself, yet it is always the same song. Somewhere in you, that melody plays. It hums softly beneath words, beneath thought, beneath sleep. It is the rhythm that steadies your breath and slows your heart. It is the calm that lingers after every storm, the peace that remains even when the surface trembles. The deep sea did not give you something new. It reminded you of something ancient. That stillness has always been your truest nature. You are floating now in that stillness, aware of every sound, every breath, every movement of air around you. The world feels slower, softer, wider. The boundary between self and sea has vanished. You are no longer just observing the ocean. You are part of its flow. The same salt that drifts in its depths flows through you. The same gravity that shapes its waves anchors your being. The same silence that fills its abyss lives in your mind. The sky above you begins to glow. The first stars appear, reflected perfectly on the water's surface. It becomes impossible to tell which is reflection and which is real. Perhaps both are real, or perhaps both are dream. Either way, they belong to the same universe. The sea, the stars, and you, three versions of the same calmness, existing together in one slow breath. And as you close your eyes, the line between them fades. You are the sea breathing. You are the sky listening. You are the space between, where thought ends and peace begins. Now the world has grown quiet. The sea has stilled. The wind has softened. And even the stars seem to pause in their slow turning. You are floating between wakefulness and sleep, carried by the same rhythm that has guided every tide since the beginning of time. There is nothing to reach for, nothing to become. You are already complete. Breathe slowly. Feel how each inhale is drawn from the same air that once drifted over the waves. Feel how each exhale returns to it, joining the endless cycle of the planet's breath. The ocean does not rush its tides, and you do not need to rush your thoughts. Every rise and fall of your chest is a wave, every heartbeat a distant drum echoing through the water. You are in harmony with the oldest rhythm on Earth. The surface glows faintly under moonlight. The reflection dances and fades, then returns again, calm and certain. Somewhere beyond the horizon, creatures move through their silent lives. A whale sings to its young. A jellyfish drifts like a tiny moon through its private sky. A current carries warmth across 1,000 miles. And beneath it all, the deep remains perfectly still. The planet sleeps, and you are part of its dream. You may remember moments from the journey, the shimmer of bioluminescent life, the quiet grace of the Dumbo octopus, the glowing pillars of hydrothermal vents. You may recall how sound bends through water, how darkness turns to light, how life thrives in silence. Each of these memories is a gentle anchor, holding you to the calm you now feel. They are not things you have seen, they are parts of what you are. Let your thoughts settle like sand on the ocean floor. Each one drifts downward, slower and softer, until it rests in stillness. The deeper the thought sinks, the quieter it becomes. You begin to feel the peace that lies beneath every current of the mind, the same peace that the ocean keeps hidden beneath its waves. This is where clarity lives. where everything unnecessary is washed away, leaving only calm awareness. The stars above shimmer, mirrored perfectly on the surface below. For a moment, sky and sea become one, their reflections indistinguishable. You are floating within that symmetry, surrounded by infinite calm. The air feels cool on your skin. The sound of distant waves lulls your body toward rest. The boundaries between body, water, and night dissolve completely. All that remains is quiet motion. In this state of stillness, you can feel the earth breathing, the slow pull of gravity, the pulse of unseen currents, the gentle hum that underlies all things. These are not separate from you. You are a part of them, a note within the planet's endless song. You do not need to listen for meaning, the meaning is the listening itself. Somewhere out there, the ocean continues its eternal dance. Waves form and fade, clouds gather and release, and rain falls again to return to the sea. Somewhere in you, the same dance unfolds. Each heartbeat, each breath, each moment of quiet awareness is another wave in your internal ocean. You are both the tide and the shore, the stillness and the motion. The night deepens, the world grows softer. You are lying on the edge of sleep now, where dreams begin to shimmer like bioluminescent light. In your mind's eye, you drift through gentle blue water, watching particles of light fall like slow snow. The silence hums around you, not empty but full of comfort. The ocean does not end, and neither do you. Breathe again. Feel the heaviness in your limbs, the weight of calm spreading through you. Each exhale releases the day's noise. Each inhale gathers the cool air of night. You are safe. You are warm. You are infinite. As your mind sinks deeper into rest, remember that everything you have seen tonight, the glowing life of the abyss, the patience of the sea, the soft conversation between gravity and light, is still happening. The world is never truly asleep, it only shifts into gentler motion. Somewhere far below, the ocean continues to pulse, each wave a heartbeat of the earth. And as you drift, that same heartbeat hums quietly within you. You are the ocean breathing. You are the planet dreaming. You are the calm that endures after every storm. Now let the sound fade. Let the stars dim, and let the waves carry you toward rest. The night holds you the way the deep holds the world, with endless patience and quiet strength. Sleep now, beneath the sky that mirrors the sea, within the sea that mirrors the stars. Sleep now, where the boundaries dissolve, and the world becomes one long, peaceful tide. Sleep now, as the ocean hums the same ancient song it has always sung, the song of beginning, of balance, of endless return.